In Skardu, in the heart of the Karakoram, a local businessman was very cleverly used a crashed airliner about 30 years ago, towed it into his hotel and used it as a cafe. Ah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ah. Exotic looking sari. Thank you. I don't know, this may sound silly, but I just don't trust the vehicles. Whoa. So I'm just going to try walking myself. It's a bit bouncy all over the place. Somehow I feel safer like this. Main thing is just not to look down and keep going. Whoa. Keep on going. Whoa, it's up and down and all over the place at the moment. But I think we're nearly at the end, so I feel slightly better. Wow. What a ride. Well, for lovers of geography, mountains, or just anyone with a sense of the dramatic, this is one of the great focal points of our journey. 3 mountain ranges meet here. The Himalaya, the Hindu Kush, and the Karakoram. And the Indus meets the Gilgit and begins its long journey down to Karachi. And there's also my first time next to the Karakoram Highway. We then continued via the Karakoram Highway, which is known up there as the 8th wonder of the world, over the Indus, and that took us eventually down to Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. Locals say that Pakistan begins 15 miles outside Islamabad. Islamabad is a very modern city, unlike most of the noisy, boisterous cities of the rest of Pakistan. And it's the home of many famous people, including Imran Khan, cricketer turned politician, who invited me around to interview his dog. He was asleep at the time, so I interviewed Imran instead. What made you decide to give up what I suppose could have been a very comfortable life as a sort of cricket punditry, commentating, you're very well respected in the game, and turn to politics?
So I thought, since I wanted to live in Pakistan, and since I have a name and I'm respected in this country, I might as well try and make a difference. So that really was the reason. It was pretty tough, because that meant that I had to stand up to the status quo, which is very strong in this country, which meant fighting the traditional parties. And unfortunately, money in Pakistan is in the hands of crooks. The majority of people who go into politics have crooked money. I mean, they make money through illegal means. Some of them are mafias. They use that money to fight elections. They come into power, and then it's the best business, because that's like an investment, and then they make a lot of money once in power. Hence, we were one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
What a smart, bright lad from the bazaars, poor background, could he make it in the country?
Almost impossible, because he would end up in a government school, and in government school the quality of education is so poor that there's hardly any chance of him ever fulfilling his potential.
Another thing that strikes me coming out from the UK, certainly in the northwest provinces, is you very rarely see women in public at all, and that to an Englishman coming over from a very open, materialistic, consumer-led society seems rather odd. They seem rather modest here. I mean, do you think that women should have more of a role in Pakistan?
Well, of course, women, especially where you're talking about the northwest frontier, women in the rural areas actually they have a big role. I mean, they work alongside men, in the villages, and they work as much as men. It's the cities where the problem arises. Because of urbanization, when rural people come into the cities, then somehow they get disorientated and they don't know how to protect their women. If a man cannot protect his woman, if something happens to his woman, then the whole family's honor is at stake. So there's a lot of confusion. Urbanization is relatively new, and people haven't quite adapted to it. So what they do is that they just more or less shut the women inside.
What do the women want to be protected like this, or do you think they themselves want to see a change? I know it's a very impossible thing to say, but do you think women want to change more, want to have more of an open role in life?
For women, it's very difficult. I think they find it very difficult. They don't know. I mean, there's segregation, and secondly, the activities they can do are very limited. Most of the women go into teachings. They become primary school teachers, but it's still new, and I think it's evolving. And I feel that the trends in Karachi. If you go to Karachi, which is right down south, the women are very active. All stratas of society, from the lowest to the higher, the women are working. The problem is in the northern areas of Pakistan and the northwest frontier province, where this is a very new phenomenon, and I think I expect it will still take some time before the women can find their role.
Imran Khan has one seat in Parliament, his own, and he's probably better known as a cricketer and a playboy. I'm sorry to ask this, but I happened to notice in one of the authoritative travel guides to Pakistan that on page 100 you are described as, this is before your marriage, of course, as a playboy and seducer and the world's most eligible bachelor. What's your reaction to that in the guidebook to the country?
I guess because I wasn't married, this sort of thing came up. But I always describe my life as what I was post-Jemima and pre-Jemima phase. Before I was married and after marriage. And I seem to have, I've forgotten all my life before I was married. So I have selective amnesia. I don't remember what happened before then. I like to think of myself as a happily married man.
Yeah. Not far from the steaming, busy streets of Rawalpindi, you find the largest and one of the very few breweries in Pakistan, which are allowed to make alcohol for non-Muslims, of course. The Murray Brewery, established at the height of the British Empire. And 94% of the workforce producing the alcohol here are Muslims, so presumably can't taste their own product. Which was pretty good. Beers ranging from a 7.6 down to a lager, and they make 3 million pints a year. Not bad for a non-drinking country. Minu Bandara from my college at Oxford runs the brewery, and I talked to him. Can you explain the legal position for Muslims who are found possessing or drinking alcohol in Pakistan?
Well, the law is pretty rigid. No Muslim is entitled by law to possess alcohol, to consume alcohol, or to trade in alcohol. But the fact of the matter is that in the Punjab, all those who dispense or sell alcohol, i.e. the large hotels, the Marriotts and Pearl Continentals and so on, Flashmans, they're all owned either by Muslims or by corporations that are controlled by Muslims. As far as we're concerned, that does not quite fit in with the law.
What's the extent of bootlegging?
Well, I'm afraid it is quite extensive. Just as in the United States, it was very extensive during the Prohibition years. I should think in Pakistan it's even more extensive. As far as the upper classes are concerned, they have access to alcohol which is imported from or bootlegged from places like Dubai in fairly substantial quantities. One has only to ring up one's bootlegger and you can get your choice of wine, liquor or beer. And most people prefer it that way because it's a headache to be getting a permit and being sort of identified as a permit holder and so on. As far as the poorer people are concerned who cannot afford imported bootleg liquor, there is moonshine, and there is plenty of that around. In point of fact, at times the moonshine liquor way outsells our legal liquor.
Are there any sort of numbers on that?
Well, we can't be certain of our numbers, but I think that the numbers are between 1 bottle of licit liquor to about 3 or 4 bottles of illicit liquor, depending on the season, depending on the time and the mood of the government and the police surveillance at the times. But I would say that the average would be between 2 and 3 bottles of liquor in addition to ours of bootleg liquor.
I went off to find some beer, not easy to find, but at the back of a hotel, just the other side of the Grand Trunk Road, one of the great arteries across the subcontinent, led me to Flashman's Hotel, and I was told if I went round the back, I could find somewhere where I could buy my quota of drinks, provided I could prove what religion I was from. Hello. I'd like to buy a bottle of whiskey.
You have permit, sir?
No, I don't have a permit.
You don't have permit?
I need a permit, do I? Well,
Then you have to fill this formal permit.
okay,
Then
all
you
right.
can purchase
Let's
the
have a look.
permit.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is a permit, sir.
Thank you, yes. Religion, Christian or agnostic?
As you like.
Oh, I don't
You have to
know. How about agnostic
have.
with doubts? How much can I buy at
You
one
can buy
time?
up to 6 units.
Up to 6 units?
Yes.
Which is what? How much is a
Which
unit?
means 6 bottles. 6
Or
bottles
six bottles,
are
right.
120 beers.
Or 120
Hello.
beers. It's a unit.
Yes, sir. You sign on this
Okay. Lovely. Thank you. So a bottle of the vat.
bottle of
Please,
wax.
1 bottle of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, what is this?
Thank you.
Body what?
Thank you very much. Do you sell a lot of whiskey?
Whiskey, yes, yes.
Who buys the whiskey? Are they all people from foreigners buy whiskey?
Foreigner? No foreigner.
Christians here buy the whiskey.
Christian, non-Muslims.
Right. Christians,
Non-Muslims.
Parsis, Quakers. Thank you very much indeed.
After paper, they need.
There we are.
This is it.
Well wrapped. Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed. Quite tricky getting it, but I think he got the measure of me because he shouted as I walked away, "I do gin!" These steps are slightly awkward for humans, but that's because they were built for elephants. This was the special entrance for the Mughal courtiers, so they could come up right into their private apartments without getting off their elephants. They were just sort of spirited in there. Got to hand it to the Mughals. They really, you know, had style. There's a rather sad story attached to this place, because this was apparently where the Emperor Akbar used to meet one of his favourites in the harem, Anarkali. And one day, his son, Prince Salim, passed through. And Akbar thought he glimpsed in the reflections of these mirrors here a flirtatious glance exchanged between Anarkali and Salim. And of course got very, very angry indeed, as chaps do at moments like this, and had Anarkali immured, walled up and buried alive. And many years later, when Salim became the Emperor Jahangir, He set up a splendid tomb, and on it wrote the words, "If I could but see the face of my beloved once again, I would give thanks to God till the day of resurrection." It's a lovely, if slightly gruesome tale, and probably completely untrue, but somehow it's stuck stubbornly in the folklore of the city. The size and scale of the Mughal buildings here in Lahore, and the beauty of them, there in the distance you can see from the fort to the Badshahi Mosque, one of the great mosques of what was then North India. This little gem of a building here, it doesn't surprise me, was actually built for Queen Mumtaz, who was the wife of the Emperor Shah Jahan. He wasn't averse to spending a bit of money on ladies he liked, because he built a tomb for her, which is the Taj Mahal. Part of the beauty of the decoration here are these pieces of pietra dura, which is sort of inlaid marble. Very precious stones, so precious that some of them have gone missing over the years. This was in the 17th century the Mughals decorated these buildings. Another exquisite pavilion down on the right there with the curved roof. It was based on a hut, local country hut, and it's in marble. That roof is marble. Water and the things you could do with water were very, very important to the builders of the Mughal palaces. This is the Shalimar Gardens, a wonderful series of fountains, waterfalls specially created. They tried to unclog them for us the day we were filming, because sadly they're not in such good shape as they were. Pale hands I loved beside the Shalimar.
Where are you now, who lies beneath your spell? Whom do you lead on Rapture's roadway far? Before you agonize them in farewell, before you agonize them in farewell.
Lollywood is Pakistan's answer to Bollywood, Bombay, centre of the Indian film industry, and they're all made in Lahore. And a lot of them feature Shan Shahid. Here he is, bleeding from the head.
Action! Got it!
And I was invited along to the studios to watch Shan at work. All the films are made in the middle of the night when it's cooler. Far too hot to make films in the day. And in between making 9 films, he agreed to meet me and then be interviewed. Here's the man. How many movies have you made?
Around 220, 30.
223 in 14 years.
In that 2 years, I went back to New York. I didn't work. So 12 years.
What's a typical day like for you?
I do about 9 projects a day, 9 different films. I give 2 hours to each project, and then I run to the other one. So during the daytime, I have to finish about 4, and then I go home, rest for a while, go back to the gym, take some steam sauna, have dinner with the kids, come back and work till 5 o'clock in the morning, because now I'm going to cater 4 more shootings. On this set, I'm going to be for 2 hours only.
So
and if they don't finish my work till that time, too bad, I have to go.
You're playing 9 different characters in a day, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
so, you know, I mean, if you do an equation on that, within 28 days, I finish 1 film.
Are you allowed to kiss on screen?
Not the lips.
On the not on the
Not on the lips. Probably on the hands or the forehead or, you know, on the side cheek or something, but not on the lips.
Well, does that seem
my
very-
wife is not going to agree to that anyway, so forget about it.
I was going to say, does that seem unnatural to you?
No, that's very natural. I would feel the same way.
कैमरा आइए Cut it!
At one time it seemed unlikely that we might film in Kashmir because it's high security. There's been conflict there for many years, lots of lives lost, but it's also one of the most peaceful and beautiful places that I visited on the journey. This is Lake Dal, early morning, going to the floating market. People here live around the edge of the lake. They grow their food, very often hydroponically, on the lake itself, take their produce to the market where you'll find dozens of boats lined up. Is this the main market, Lasse?
Yes, sir, this is the main part of the market.
So, I mean, we just push in there and we stop, I suppose. Doesn't look as though we're going to be able to do much supermarket shopping. In my boat that was called Stranger in Paradise, I talked to Mr. Lassa, the boatman, pointed out what was going on in the market. These are people who live just on the edge of the lake.
Yes, please. They
Bringing
live
their
up here on the
produce.
small islands, which is used to go everywhere by boat.
Yeah.
They don't have here any roads. So they are harvesting by boats, growing by boats,
Selling by boat.
selling by boats,
Yeah.
and buying by boat.
Yeah,
And the farmers coming very early in the morning.
yeah. What are these? Well, these are beans.
Those are the beans,
yeah.
those are the radishes.
So go on, yes. So they
they're-
come early in the morning. And,
They come here early in the morning after the sell and after the buy. They have all day free for selling and for the farming.
Yeah.
The farmers go back to the farming. Everything we grow here on the small islands.
Are the prices being negotiated here as well? That's all
Yes.
the shouting that goes
This
on.
is why they are
Yeah.
negotiating, making a big argument. You see, that
Yeah.
one is selling their spinach,
Yeah.
the long things.
Oh, right, yeah. and
It's a
he's-
Kashmiri spinach.
yeah. And those leaves there's some great
Oh,
stacks
those
of lotus leaves or
No, it's a water lily leaves.
water lily, right?
Water
yeah,
lily leaves.
yeah.
That's for the cows.
I'm fascinated by lotus, what comes from the lotus. And what are these? These are
Actually, when the flowers are falling down from the seeds,
when the flowers.
then
yes.
after that we get the seeds.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the seeds.
yes.
It's
wow.
selling here
Huge.
on the vegetable
Big pods,
market.
yeah.
Then we buy those,
Oh, I
and
see. They sort of come out
take-
like that. Yeah.
take this out like this.
Yes. Yeah.
Then we peel this,
Yeah.
Like
I
this.
see. Yeah. Yeah.
and after we peel that again.
Yeah.
The green part we
Yeah.
peel again.
Yes. Ah.
Then we have this white part.
yeah.
You can pick that from my hand
Yeah.
and put it in your mouth. It's eat it just like a nuts. It has a good taste, but just like a
That's a
fresh,
good, very cleansing, fresh taste.
fresh taste.
Yeah. And that's from those are lotus seeds.
Lotus seeds.
Well. Yes. No. Yes, you can come and talk to me.
Which flower?
Well, there aren't many tourists now in Kashmir, so when a tourist boat does come along, you're besieged, and they really won't let you alone. The flower sellers, I didn't have anyone particularly to buy the flowers for, but they were determined that I should have flowers. wherever I went. All right, I have some flowers. What they're doing them in a bunch or a little? Let's see how much those are. Lovely. How much are those? 200? 200 of those. I like those though. Can I have those for 200? 350. About 250.
Okay, I give you 300.
275.
I don't tell you expense.
You don't tell me expense. Are you together? I thought you were competitors. All right. All right, those for 200. 200, thank you very much. No, 200. 200 of those, are they? All right, well, I don't know if I've got, I'll have to have a look. One bouquet? What about those yellow ones there? How much are those? 500. Oh my God. You tried to break me? Look, I've got 200 there. 200. I think I've got 200 and how about some lotus? No.
No, I have plenty in my garden.
You've got plenty in your garden.
I hope
What have I got here? Yes. 250.
300.
Well, this is my 100 special. I keep separately. No, I keep this specially because there might be an emergency.
No.
I have to keep this in case everyone goes and I'm left stuck alone in Kashmir.
Excuse me. Too much waiting for me here. No other side for business.
No other kind of business? All right. No, well, I'll give that to a lady friend if I find one. Okay, there we are. Thank you very much. Oh, it's going up. Thank you. All right. Very nice. Thank you very much. What is your name?
My name is Bashir.
Bashir.
Mr. Marvelous. Mr. Marvelous is nice.
Okay. Do you have an email number? We can tell people at home. Anyway, we have to go now. Thank you very much. Bashir, thank you. No, we have to go. I know there's somebody else. We're in the middle of a sort of flower explosion. There you are, nice. They're for you, because you're taking so much. At the headquarters of the Tibetans in exile in Dharamsala, it's not exactly speech day at school, but it's a special day at school when all the girls do a dance for their parents. These are basically Tibetan-style dances with the long sleeves you see in Tibet. Proud parents taking photographs of their girls and what they wear, and those amber and coral beads, terribly important too. When you go around the world, and you've met some of the leading statesmen of the world over the last 40, 50 years, from Mao Zedong to George W. Bush, I mean, do you find
that they respond to what you're saying? These are people with enormous power, enormous armies, they can take major decisions to send people into action or whatever. Do you feel that your message, which is such a clear message, and I think such a absolutely uncontradictable message, do you feel it gets through to people? Can you see change happening when you meet these people?
I think my own case, one level, Dalai Lama, or Tibetan, or Buddhist, but the fundamental level is a human being.
Yeah.
So similarly, no matter what sort of position, but basically on sort of basic level, all same human being.
Yeah.
So for example, when I met like Chairman Mao or President Bush, I always look mainly on the level of human being, human brother. So on that level, we have no differences. And usually, whenever I meet these sort of whether religious leader or businessman or scientist or a politician, I always communicate with them on human level. That's the main thing. So I do not find any difficulties or not much differences. Not much differences. So Chairman Mao, as a human, on one old people, very often coughing. So sometimes one sort of experience, the few occasions I sort of dine with Chairman Mao, and sometimes with party, big sort of banquet. So I always say beside him, I stay beside him. So he almost appears like father figure. So he, the Chinese sort of tradition, the chopstick.
Yeah.
So see, his own sort of chopstick use is some the vegetables or things like that. Is put in my plate. So sometimes I'm little sort of uncomfortable because he's always coughing. So, although it's a very gentle way. You see, he give me compassionate way,
yes.
But sometimes I'm anxious. Sort of this thing, human level, very beautiful,
Yes.
very nice. Like President Bush also, very straightforward, very nice person. And of course political, and as a leaders, of course they have their own different sort of views and different responsibility. And actually, my main motivation when meeting these people, mainly as another human being who have a lot of responsibility. But the main thing is, as a human being. So human level, more compassionate person, and his or her professions, politics or business or sort of education or anything.
Do you ever encounter a situation where you meet someone who you can't get through to, in whom there is a coldness and there is an indifference, which you feel that you just cannot permeate?
Usually, I think almost 90%, I think 99%, I think my meeting usually goes at that level, and very, very friendly. Few occasions. One occasion, I really like it strange. One, I think, Christian minister or something. He tried to sort of impose his faith on me.
Really? Sort of.
I felt, that's useless. I'm Buddhist. I study Buddhist a lot. So therefore,
He tried to convert
it is rather difficult to convert easily.
Well, he certainly tried at the very top, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, you're the best travelled of any Dalai Lama in history, and I mean, you have a very hectic schedule. Why is it important for you to travel the world as much as you do?
No, actually, a lot of invitation come.
And you can't say no.
Of course, I have right to say no. But that I don't want to say no. So I happily accepted some of these invitations. But in some cases, I can't sort of, or say, time not permit. And then also, at the time, my first visit outside India, that was 1973. To the West. I described myself as a world citizen. From my childhood, I always have curiosity or desire to know more about different people, different culture. And as a Buddhist monk, I also have gained interest to learn more about different religious traditions.
I read somewhere, I think, that you had a big atlas when you were young. It was rather important to you. I mean, I was exactly the same. I loved the atlas, and I always wanted to go to the atlas. Something about the name. Anyway.
Actually, I think the factor which bring interest about map is during Second World War.
Oh, really? I want to know what was going on.
I want to know where is Germany, where is Italy, where is Britain, where is France, like that.
Well, where's Japan? More important, I should think, yes. Yes.
So then eventually I developed some, the interest about, geography and different culture, of different people, different area, different climate. Perhaps, I think one reason, in our own Buddhist literature, some description about the world and how developed it through evolution. So I have this interest, make comparison. What are the differences? The modern scientific sort of explanation, how to develop this whole world, like that. So like that.
Do you worry about travelling now? I mean, there's an awful lot of tension and fear in the world about which countries we can go to and which countries we're not allowed to go to. I mean, what advice would you give to somebody, say, some young people wanting to travel now in this troubled world?
Take more caution, because now there is some unexpected things may happen.
Do you have any fear when you travel that something might happen to you?
Generally, no. Wherever I met some people, it's always some kind of friendly atmosphere. Immediately it happened. So even when I passing through street, I always smile. When I saw some sort of look one another. So usually I smile, but then sometimes you see the other side, no smile.
Yes.
More serious.
Then you know.
Then you know. I also can change my sort of face. But usually, you see, when I show some smile, from their side also. Even you see knowing, without knowing, it's just as a human being. Some very positive, very peaceful sort of manner.
I agree with you. It's a universal thing, I think.
That's right. That's right. I think you also have the same experience.
It is mine.
Even though sometimes you may not communicate with their local language, but with your
long face.
I just smile and hope for the best, you know. They probably think, who's this idiot coming along? But if you've got a smile and you put your hand out,
That's right.
most people are good, except security guards, border guards. Don't try it with border guards, I find. I was going to ask, actually, if there are any statesmen in the world today, or anyone in the world today, that you would still like to meet and haven't been able to. Is there anybody comes to mind?
And the two never.
No, never.
No, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But at least among those sort of leaders whom I already met, and among them, one, President Havel, I have great sort of admiration and respect.
Czech Republic, yeah.
Czech Republic.
Well, for lovers of geography, mountains, or just anyone with a great sense of the dramatic, this is one of the great focal points of our journey. Over there, the Himalaya range. In the distance, the Karakoram. Here, the Hindu Kush. They all meet here at the confluence of the Indus and the Gilgit River. The Indus flows down to Karachi, and this is also the first time I come in contact with the Karakoram Highway, as you can hear.
I like that.
I'm sorry, I completely screwed that up. You're completely drowned out by this.
So
okay, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I completely did that.
Yeah.
Sorry. I put far too much of the world.
That's all right.
Lovers of geography.
Yeah, yeah. Lovers generally, or just lovers generally.
Look at the DVD.